do this, Sam.
I can't do this, Sam. I just can't do this. When I think about what I saw yesterday with the movie Predator Badlands, my brain just wants to run away. It was a terrible experience, one that had me cringing and laughing with embarrassment throughout the entire film. Now, you might have noticed that there's sort of a controversy online over this film, where a lot of critics seemed very praiseworthy towards it, but some fans of the Predator franchise were taking issue with some of the things that they praised about it, like the Predator is going to talk about his feelings and being sensitive. Does that really sound like what Predator is supposed to be? Well, there were people in response to that who said, you haven't seen the movie yet. This works. This is amazing. And I didn't really know what to think about it, and I have seen the very first Predator, and we will talk about it. Now that I have seen the movie, I have to tell you, any criticism that has come forth about what this movie does to the Predator franchise and how embarrassing it is on that front has not gone far enough. This is a movie. Literally the plot. I need you to understand this. And there was false advertising going behind the scenes with this movie. False advertising that I interestingly also saw with Tron Ares, where Tron Ares did not reveal that Greta Lee was really the main character and it was actually about her. Predator Badlands. The trailer made it look like it was going to be a super serious entry into the Predator franchise, probably going to be R-rated until we found out that it was going to be PG-13, and there's a reason for that, where he is going on a mission to prove himself with his robot companion, and maybe there was thought that maybe that could have worked, whatever you thought about it. I just didn't have faith because I just don't expect sequels for the Alien and Terminator and Predator franchises to ever work out, but what I didn't expect is this. Now, the movie that Predator Badlands actually is, once again, it is not remotely the movie that you have seen in any of the advertising. The advertising hid what this movie actually is. Predator Badlands is an overt, in-your-face story about an insecure runt of a predator trying to prove himself to his clan, but he meets a robot that helps him get in touch with his feelings and talk about his feelings and the importance of being sensitive to other creatures and teaches him to make friends. And he even gets some cute pets along the way on the movie. Do you think that that's a joke? Do you think that that's an exaggeration? No. The Predator literally gets cute animal pets throughout the movie that he is friends with, and he makes all these friends. Like, you're watching, how, in a Moana, like a Disney princess movie, she will have, like, her little cute animal friends for comic relief, and that'll help her along. That's what happens in this movie. Now, before we go into that, like, what would possibly be the problem in a movie about, like, this alien creature who makes friends and goes on an adventure? What's the problem with that? The problem is this is a Predator movie. Do you know what Predator is? Let's go back to it. Predator was a movie starring Arnold Schwarzenegger back in the 80s. It was essentially a slasher movie. It mixed elements of action and the slasher genre. It could be considered a horror movie. It definitely had horror elements. Now, the original Predator movie, it was an insanely alpha male masculine movie, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the movie that you go to when you're trying to express, like, a caricature of alpha male masculinity and being so macho. Like, the movie was, like, setting up, it's all muscle and heavy artillery and guns and these army guys who are really macho and tough. But there was a point to that. The point of, like, having these super macho guys go out into the jungle here is that was a setup, because you just talk, these are like the tough guys, the stereotypical super tough guys who can take on anything. And then these characters are shaking in their boots over this mysterious creature who is hunting them and picking them off one by one.
Billy, you know something. What is it? I'm scared, Pancho.
You ain't afraid of no man.
There's something out there waiting for us. And it ain't no man.
And largely in the movie, the creature remains mysterious until a reveal at the end, where he still maintains a lot of his mystique. But that was the point of the Predator movie. It's this, super macho, masculine slasher movie with these characters, and they're fighting this creature that hunts human beings for sport. Like, that is the motive that we get from the Predator. It just does all of this for sport. The Predator is a horror movie character, essentially. So, what Predator Badlands does is make a horror movie icon go around and talk about his feelings and make friends with a special robot girl and make little pets who smile at him, and one kind of becomes his dog, and he learns to make friends and he learns to be nice, and he gets the entire theme. Like, this isn't just something undercurrent. This is the entire movie. The entire overt theme that they talk about openly is the importance of friendship and sensitivity in a Predator movie. This is the equivalent of doing a movie about how, hey, do you think Freddy Krueger was ever bullied in school? Do you think that that's why he goes off and he attacks children? Maybe we should talk to him. Maybe Freddy Krueger just needs to get in touch with his feelings. Maybe he just needs a friend. This is the equivalent if you made a movie about how Godzilla's parents divorced, and that's why he's marching through the city of Tokyo destroying everything every movie. Like, it's that. It's like if you took a horror villain like Michael Myers or just any sort of horrific character. Like you said, the Jaws, the shark from Jaws, he just wanted a buddy. Like, maybe we should all have lunch with him sometime. That is the equivalent. It's like someone watched the original Predator movie and got scared by it and got upset by the mean Predator. Oh, that's gross. He's like skinning human beings alive and killing people and ripping their spine. A Predator, like, their entire goal is to catch you, kill you, and rip your spine up through your skull and rip it out and scream like a maniac that they are the superior being. That is what a Predator is supposed to do. That is what the creature and franchise is supposed to be. And it's like someone watched the original movie and went, ooh, that's gross and scary. I don't like that. I need to soften this up for myself. Maybe there's a nice Predator out there. Maybe he, does he have daddy issues? Does the Predator just have daddy issues? Because that's the entire point of the lead Predator in this movie. He's a runt. He's insecure. He's emotional. And he can't get the approval of his father. So it's literally, they invented a Predator with daddy issues. That is what they did. And once again, like, it's like they watch that movie and they're just like, oh, it's so gross and so scary. We need to have a Predator who makes friends and makes little buddies. Like, this movie reminded me of The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi because of how much humor there is. Once again, you don't see this in any of the advertisement. No, this movie is not PG-13. Like, the excuse they gave is like, well, there's no human blood in it. I mean, that's true. No, the reason why this movie is PG-13, not R-rated like most of the other Predator movies, is because it's literally a quirky family movie, a quirky family comedy. That is what this is. It checks all the boxes that you might see in a Disney princess movie. Needing to discover yourself, learning the power of friendship, getting your little animal sidekicks. That is what this movie is. And now some Grace Randolph was saying Predator has a girlfriend. That is wrong. Disney would never make a movie where there is actually a love interest these days. But, like, it checks all the boxes of a Disney family movie so that it reminded me of The Force Awakens. Like, as soon as the Elle Fanning robot character comes on screen, she is used to constantly talk and constantly make jokes and rob the Predator of any kind of scariness or seriousness or brutality possible because she turns everything into a joke. And that's the point of it. And she says that she does that because she's trying to get him to lighten up, Like, that is what this movie does. It completely robs all fear and all mystique of what is essentially this horror movie villain. And that's the whole thing. The Predator was always supposed to be a mysterious character. Different films would give us bits and pieces, but you were supposed to, like, leave just an element of mystery to this culture and this race. But from the very opening scene, the very first 4 minutes of this film, we get the Predator talking. Like, he talks throughout this entire film, always in subtitles, and he talks just like a modern day American. Like, and so does his brother, who gets killed trying to save him. But, you know, they had the big reveal at the end of the first Predator film, you know, when Arnold Schwarzenegger finally gets to see the ugly face of this Predator. Well, now they've taken this face and changed it, but because like they've essentially transformed the Predator into a human. His face now is so expressive, like, and so emotional all the time. Like, once again, all the fear is taken away from this character, and it's embarrassing. Like, once again, it's like if you made a movie like Tea Time with Godzilla, and Godzilla is your buddy. Godzilla is now Barney the dinosaur or something. It's embarrassing. It's like, what if I took a scene from Godzilla destroying the city and played Disney princess music over it? That would look pretty ridiculous, wouldn't it? Because that's not what Godzilla is. That's not the tone that movie is supposed to strike. But when you take things with two completely clashing tones and approaches and put them together, it looks ridiculous. And that's why I was laughing in tears in a bad way throughout Predator Badlands, because I'm like, You're sitting around the campfire and you're talking about your feelings and your daddy issues and how you feel like you can't live up and the robot is explaining about how you need to be sensitive and like and she wants you to go back and save your dog friend that you made, and you're making friends with animals now. It's embarrassing. It's a clash on the level of, like, let's say if when Frozen 3 came out, Elsa is all of a sudden Rambo. She's got, you know, the bullets and the guns, and there's explosions, and it's super serious. Like, Frozen and Disney Princess is a franchise for young girls. It's a feminine franchise, an innocent franchise with a lot of humor and all that stuff, and that's what it is, and that's fine. Frozen is not Predator, and Predator is not Frozen. So to make the Predator into like this Disney princess movie, essentially, it's embarrassing. And I see some people saying that if you just don't think of it as a Predator movie, then the movie is good. To be fair, I can understand where they're coming from. When, unlike a lot of the movies I've seen this year, this movie at least tries to do the bare minimum. At least it has two defined protagonists with two defined personalities. It has a defined arc for the main character. The pacing is all right, where I wouldn't say that it felt like we were lingering on any scenes too long. There was a decent balance of action and dialogue, and it wasn't, once again, the movie was as long as it needed to be. It didn't feel like it was drawn out or anything like that. Now, if this was just an original film about an alien learning to be sensitive or something, if this was a completely original film, then I would probably just give it a pass. That would be fine. Would it be anything groundbreaking? Would I ever watch it again? Maybe no, but I could give it a pass. Once again, the problem is that it is a Predator movie. Now, I want to talk about the element I mentioned in the beginning about how the original Predator movie, you know, I got the sense that it wasn't made for my demographic. Like, it is a super male-centered movie, and it was made for adult men. That was who that movie was for, and it's so masculine that I out of like the old sci-fi, you know, that kind of mix horror elements with them, with those movies like Alien and Terminator and all of that, I think that Predator is the most inaccessible one for a female audience. But for me, it's like, I just enjoy anything as long as it's a good story and it's really intriguing, and I thought that the movie was. But I also recognize it was not a movie made for women. And I guess that's another thing, knowing the trends these days, you would not have a movie like Predator made under Disney, and that's part of the problem. And this has always been a problem with Disney, is whenever they buy new IPs, they have to assimilate that with whatever the brand of Disney already is. Disney makes family films. It makes a lot of girls content, and that is what has happened with Predator. The original Predator film, that does not fit with the vision of what Disney wants its franchises to be. It's way too violent and masculine and scary, and it's yeah, that's what it's supposed to be. And by extension, Alien wasn't as masculine because you had a female lead, and she was a very strong female lead, but, these were essentially horror films, if you really want to lay it out, but that does not fit with Disney's way that they market things. So we had Alien Earth recently. I only got through an episode in 10 minutes, but I heard what happened as the show went on is the alien essentially becomes a pet during the show, this horrific creature who's supposed to be scary. And the same things happened with Predator, where it needs to become a jokey family movie. I can't emphasize enough. You know how in The Last Jedi and in the MCU, they're constantly undercutting and making sure that you can't feel any emotion or tension with jokes? That is what this movie does. It makes sure that you are not going to find anything scary about this Predator. You are not going to be intimidated by them all, because we're going to find that he's just a super sensitive soul who's super emotional and just, needs to understand that about himself and needs to care about others, and we're gonna tell jokes throughout the entire film so that you won't take anything so seriously. The pets that the Predator gets in this movie, as he's, making best friends with this robot, and he incidentally rescues an animal, and that animal smiles at him and is licking him like a dog and wants to be his pet, and he leaves it behind, and then the robot's like, you should go find him, and he does, and then he's able to make friends with another creature by feeding it berries. It's all stuff that you might get in a Disney movie. You have to check the boxes of these furry creatures. Not these furry creatures, they're not furry, but it reminded me of the Porgs. Disney always has to insert their lovable animal creatures and their lovable sidekicks with the potential of trying to get that audience on board. It's like what they did with Baby Groot and Baby Yoda, and once again, they were trying to do that with the Porgs. Disney always has their mind on how can we make some cute, lovable pet merchandise, and that is what they do with the Predator as well. But it just does not fit with what this franchise is supposed to be. The Predator was a smart slasher movie where the entire point was the concept was supposed to be horrifying, interesting, and horrifying, and now all of the mystique has been taken away from that, and you just have, this insecure, sensitive Predator who's made a bunch of friends along the way and has learned the importance of friendship and being sensitive towards others. So, I just don't know anything more that I can possibly say about this movie. It just doesn't work because it's Disneyfying these, essentially, I will just say it, horror franchises. It's Disneyfying these horror franchises into their quirky family movies. Disney, even long before, I remember I was 12 years old and I didn't think Disney should buy Star Wars because I'm like, Disney can't make a Star Wars project, because Disney already had a reputation back then, as much as I liked them for their own stuff, of needing to transform everything into their safe, family-friendly brands. And that is what they've done with these franchises. So one last thing I want to say before I dip out of this topic is that I think that there is going to be conversation around this movie. And there is a point in this movie, there is a point that, this just checks all the box of the Disney tropes. I mentioned the animals and the comedy, and there's a moment in this movie, the Predator, once again, he has to go off and save his female robot friend, but of course he can't save her because that would be bad. That would be a damsel in distress, so she has to rescue herself before he comes along. I might just have a video about all of this and how many times I've seen that trope ever since The Force Awakens, where Rey had to save herself, where they let a female character get captured, but then she has to rescue herself even as the male character is coming to rescue her because that would be sexist or something. I've seen that so many times, I have to do a video on it. But I want to talk because I think that there is going to be conversation around this movie, and it's already going to come up, about, how this Predator essentially has feminized the franchise, of how it might not be hard to see, the Predator franchise was male skewing. Like, it was completely for men. So it's maybe not hard to imagine now that you get to Disney and they're more of a girl's brand and they're more appealing to families, how this franchise once again becomes, for lack of a better word, feminized. How now it's not this ultra masculine, scary franchise. We have, a female character, a co-lead who's trying to help this monster find his feelings and all that kind of stuff. And now this movie is, all about having empathy for others, and it's about your emotions and all that kind of stuff. I will say it depends on the people that you get to work on the project. Once again, I'm a person where I like the original Predator movie because I think it's a really good movie, even though I recognize it's not it's not made for women. It's not made for women at all. You can enjoy it because it's good, but that's not the major demographic. But yeah, I wouldn't be a bit surprised that this does check off all those boxes that we've seen, where I know we're talking about a creature here, but it is a male lead, and he has to be, made super emotional and all those things, and his journey is about empathy and all of that, and, it takes away all the scary elements about the Predator franchise and all the tough elements and, all of the ways that franchise was male skewing in the past, and now it's just for girls and families. I saw a tweet that said Predator Badlands is Predator for girls, and I completely agree with that. That's what it feels like. But once again, what I'm saying is, that's not what that's not what it's supposed to be. Wicked should not be a super masculine franchise. Because that's not what it is. That's not what its demographic is. But when you try to force a franchise to be something that it's not, it just becomes embarrassing, and that's what this is. And it's okay. There's a time and place. We need films that are more feminine, like Legally Blonde, Wicked, Frozen, lots of films that are feminine. And then sometimes it's good to have masculine films as well, like Predator or stuff like that. It's okay, but as Disney buys up all these IPs, they have to transform them and make them more feminine and more family-oriented when that's not supposed to be. And once again, that is the entire reason why Predator Badlands is PG-13, because they have literally remade this franchise to be like a family-friendly movie a la Disney Star Wars. I felt like I was watching Disney Star Wars when I saw this. I guess we'll always have the original film and the actual thought behind it and the actual good craftsmanship. That is all I got for you guys today for now, but watching this movie, this video is just a review for the movie, but it's just made me think a lot about the state of Disney. And it's how many of, I've been saying this on multiple videos, how many of these are there? There's been multiple films this year, like this one in Tron Ares, that, it's false advertising. The movies themselves are completely different than the advertising, because these movies were made, years ago, where they thought things in society were going to be very different and that people still agreed with these ideologies and, I guess, feminizing these franchises and all of that. And it's how many more of these are there? Because I thought we were going to be done earlier this year with these types of movies, but we just keep finding more and more of them. At Tron Ares, now Predator Badlands, I should have had any hope for it because I should have remembered it's associated with Disney. Is Avatar Fire and Ash going to be another, another story-wise bomb? I don't think it's going to bomb at the box office, but is Avatar Fire and Ash going to be like this? It's crazy. They turned the Predator into a quirky MCU movie, or I just was more reminded of Disney Star Wars. A quirky Disney princess movie where Predator is just a sensitive guy who goes on picnics and makes friends and makes funny little pets that he can follow him around who care about him. That's Predator Badlands, and I apologize to the people who liked this movie or thought that I was going to like it, but the problem is it's not a Predator movie, and I do not agree with taking a pre-existing franchise like that and remaking it into something like this. You could have made your own movie. You could have made your own original movie, and maybe it would have been fine, but the problem is taking the Predator franchise and using it like this. That is all I got for now. I do have more thoughts that this movie has given me on the movie industry and Disney at large, so stay tuned for those videos. Thank you for watching this. I hope I was able to warn you about what you are going to get if you go see Predator Badlands. I would love to hear your thoughts on all of this in the comments below, and if you want to support my work, please consider becoming a member or a patron, and I will see you guys next time.